Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about the milestone one for data mining module, which is the web crawling. The assignment requires us to crawl something from the web from online, which is something to do with real-time data. For this assignment, we have chosen my teammate and I, we have chosen the Star News portal. So as we can see here, the latest news on the Star website. So what they will do is like they will just update from time to time, and then like here we can see like there's a time 12 minutes ago there's some news, and then if we refresh the page, and then maybe we can see something like, so 3 minutes ago there's a new item came in, which is word news with a certain title and a certain first para. So if we look at the page source, we'll see like there's a section also for the latest news. If we search for example, for this title, then we'll see they have like the HTML, the corresponding HTML tag, where data content title represents the title, and then the content type uh, giving us the type, content ID giving us the news ID, and then we have actually here like the timeline content. So this is a class that tell us that for each particular item here, for example, if let's say we are using the inspect element, we'll see like for each item here there is a corresponding class inside, which is the timeline content. And so what we do here is we'll crawl the whole page, and then we'll search for the individual timeline content class. And after that, we'll go down into the reference to get like the type of content, and then also the corresponding data under the tag h2, the header tag. And let's get started with our codes. So we are using a Python project for this milestone one, and we for this web crawling we'll need a few libraries from Python, which is namely the request library, the beautiful soup to pass the HTML documents, and pandas to work with the data that we crawl. So this is a function that we have written, and here like we have a one-time demo. Like first we'll crawl the page from the star article, so and save it into a variable, and then we'll use the page content and to pass it into a beautiful soup, to pass it using a HTML parser and save it in a variable. And then we'll use the beautiful soup to find all the corresponding timeline content class, as we mentioned here, the timeline content class, and to go through one by one to find the tag h2, the header tag, whereby we'll have like the subtag like for the news, and then the news ID itself, and also like what we have like the additional content such as the news ID, and then we have like the content category. So we have here like the content category, and also the content, and also the URL itself, the href, the page URL itself. And then also another thing to take note here is that because like from this one news we actually don't see the time and the date. So for that, what we need to do is we need to take the URL and then go into the corresponding page, and here we have the date and also the time, and this is exactly what we do. So like for each data that we have, we will take the URL and then to recrawl the page, like to crawl the sub page, and then save the sub page like recursively into HTML parser, and then also to get the time and the date respectively. And if you look at the page source for time and date, we'll see there is a tagging, like for date the class is date, and then for timestamp the class is timestamp. And if you look at timestamp, we actually have a few like the timestamp appears like 12 times in this document, so we need to get the correct timestamp tagging, which is the time tag. So we have here the time tag. And then for date, it's simpler because date we only got so date we only got the class date, we only got one class. If we search to verify this, we only got one date class, so we can easily take this as the item that we are using. But for timestamp, as we can see, there are few occurrence for timestamp, even though these two are under the JavaScript, but just to be safe, so we need to get the correct item here. And then, so as a demo function here, what we do is we'll just print out the news ID, the news itself, the URL link, and date and time for 15 items from the latest news here. And let us refresh it again here and see what we have. So yeah, we have again again the some new news coming in, and then we have like the same thing in a function. So we define a function to crawl the page, like this is a one-time function. So what we do is we will call this function again and again, like in a specific time frame, to check whether there's a new item or not. Like maybe we go down to this function first. So like we can see here, like we use a Python pandas to create a data frame to collect the news ID, date, timestamp, the news category itself, and then just the headline and the URL. So we want to save this data frame into an Excel file. And then what we do is we'll set an endless loop, so that we'll continue this function unlimited line and in an endless loop. And then we set another parameter so that to sleep for 600 seconds every single time. That means we'll stop for 10 minutes and then we'll crawl again. And then after 10 minutes, we crawl again and again. And at each crawl, we print out the data frame, and also we will save it to a CSV. And as we can see here, it's actually like this. I actually run it like since a while ago, so we can see like the first crawl there's like 14 items, and then the second crawl there are four new headlines. So now we have like second occurrence, and as we can see, like this script is still ongoing, it's still running. And just to save the code, we added another assert function that check for, like for example, at each crawl. So what we do is we will find the news, like we'll find the sub tag h2, the header tag, and then first we go into the news ID. And once we get the news ID, we check whether it is already inside our data frame. So this data frame, there is a news ID, like there's a column of news ID that we can see here. The first column is actually news ID. So we'll see whether the new item is already existing. If it is existing, then we'll skip the news in order to save the computation. Otherwise, like the spider crawling, it's actually taking up quite a lot of processing power if the data is growing big. And if the news is not available yet in our data frame, so we'll just do the usual thing, like we crawl the news headline, and then we get the category, and then we go into the sub page to using the URL. We go into the sub page to get the date and the time out. So and then we return back the same data frame from the function, and that is a so that this is our crawling function. And if we see here, like now we have like 2 crawling already, and if let's check on our data set, then we'll see we have here like headlines, categories. So we'll see like categories, news headline, and we have here, for example, let us see, so here are the new items that came in, but like 21 minutes ago. So the latest one was this one, Azmin's ministry outline something something. So this was the latest one. So the next crawl should give us 1 2 3 4 more items. Okay, let me close this one. So we this is if I don't stop the script from running, then it's supposed to continue forever until I stop the script manually. So with this function, with this simple true while function, a true while loop, we can set an unlimited it's like ongoing running script to crawl a news page based on a given time frame. Like we set the time frame now as in like 10 minutes, 600 seconds, which is equivalent to 10 minutes. So we have like every 10 minutes we will recrawl the latest news from the start. And yeah, so that is about it. And so this is like a summary of our milestone 1 from our group, to crawl the news articles from the Star newspaper online website. Thank you very much.